here is an opportunity, a business opportunity for us. Man flavored toothpaste.
Yeah. Dang.
Bourbon toothpaste.
Oh, dude. Yo, that would be crazy.
Right?
Like,
People would have to buy it once. I don't know if they would continue to buy it, but they would have to buy it once.
so when people say sales funnel, don't get caught up in the jargon. I'm glad you at least acknowledged that your downloadable PDF probably was way too jargony, because it was.
Yeah.
It probably was.
If somebody discovers you on social media organically, that's more powerful than if they discover you on an ad. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, it's just not as good as organic.
Welcome to the Brand Nerd Podcast. I'm Mitch Metter. Join me as we nerd out over great brands, study the latest business tech, and learn proven strategies from experts and entrepreneurs. Let's get started.
What is up, nerds? We're back at it, season 0 of the Brand Nerd Podcast, and today we are talking about the pre-purchase digital customer journey. And that sounds like a ridiculous thing to say if you haven't thought at all about digital marketing and how to grow your business online. But let me just spell it out for you a little bit. People are looking for your business online, and there is a series of interactions that occur before they do business with you. And we want to help you optimize turning browsers into buyers. And so today I'm talking to Pete Rodriguez about how we can walk in our customers' shoes by mapping out their digital journey to you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Truth.
The double B's. What is it from buyers?
From browsers to buyers.
Browsers. And what's cool is that like a browser, like browsing just products. I'm just browsing right now. I'm just looking around versus like your web browser. Your web browser is you're browsing the internet.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, that was an awesome opening monologue. I am pumped about that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the positive reinforcement.
No, in all seriousness, though, I think you're right. You're right. And I'm excited to talk about this because there's so much that goes into turning someone from a browser into a buyer. The journey there. And I think I'm even thinking of a product right now that I just found recently that I want to share, but I won't say it yet.
Okay.
It's something that I found online and I experienced, and it was a very impactful online product.
That's cool. Well, this
I'm
is
excited to share with
something
you.
I have been, I guess you could say, passionate about or like nerding out about for a long time. In fact, the very first lead gen I ever wrote for thebrandnerd.com was a lead gen. I think it was just called How to Grow Your Business Online. And it was talking all about customer journey and how you think about that and how you bring people through that journey. Looking at it through like a funnel was often one way you see it depicted, or another way you see it depicted is like a horizontal line with different sections as people move through it. And it was probably a little too jargony and a little too...
I was literally just about to say, when you said funnel,
Oh yeah.
my goodness, is funnel overused.
Oh yeah.
Everyone, sales funnel, like I do this, funnel. Can we just like, all right, think about the shape of a funnel.
Yeah.
Like when you go and grab a funnel, you're going to make some iced tea or something. You're pouring powder and sugar. I don't do this. I don't make iced tea at home. I don't know what you use funnel for. Oil changes? That's a funnel,
sure.
right? I don't do my own oil. I'm just not that guy.
Yeah.
I don't make tea and I don't
You
do
never
my
made
own.
like a funnel cake?
No, but the funnel cake is because they
They just
put it through a
funnel
funnel.
it in.
So,
Okay.
Pete just does exclusively anti-funnel activities.
Yeah.
Never uses a funnel for
funnelist.
anything.
Old take cotton.
When you think about the shape, all a funnel is, it's taking things from a wide, right? Like there's this wide open cavity, and as that whatever is being put into the funnel gets closer to the bottom of the funnel, it's getting more constrained, and closer to the point of impact. This resonate at all? Does this make sense? So when people say sales funnel, don't get caught up in the jargon. I'm glad you at least acknowledged that your downloadable PDF probably was way too jargony, because it was.
Yeah.
It probably was. So that's all a freaking funnel is, guys. Don't be overwhelmed by these salespeople that are like, I built a $200,000 sales funnel. And you're like, man, what is a funnel?
Yeah.
What do I even do?
But I think when I speak to a local business owner, like you can just see the eyes glass over when you talk about we need to move them from awareness into consideration into purchase, and they're just like, what are they even talking about? So over the years I've done a lot of thinking about this, about how to make it super accessible for everybody. And I think what I say now resonates with people at a lot deeper level. And that's essentially the pre-purchase digital customer journey. And let's just unpack that a little bit. Pre-purchase. So this is somebody who hasn't bought from you yet. This is how they are moving towards purchasing from you. Digital, I'm talking specifically online. That's what we are. We are online people.
Yeah.
Not to say that we don't get into the real world as well.
We're not even here right now. We're like digital versions
Exactly.
of
If you're
ourselves.
listening to this,
We are AI.
a digital.
This is a fully AI generated podcast.
You're not supposed to tell them that.
We're not even humans. They don't know that.
I'm actually in Curacao right now. I'm on a
Exactly.
beach.
And I'm in Puerto Rico. The real Pete Rodriguez is in San Juan, Puerto Rico right now.
Oh,
And the AI version is here. So
sounds wonderful.
anyways.
No, but the idea is that we're digital because everything that we do goes from the real world to the digital world.
Right.
So if we do something that is an advertisement for somebody, we're trying to get them into your real world business, but we're doing it through digital means mostly. That's just how our company operates. That's what we specialize in. And a customer journey, think of it as a treasure map or whatever with the little dotted lines and the different dots along the way.
Yeah.
Like that's the customer journey. What are the stops they make digitally before they make a purchase with you? And so I've broken this down into 3 basic things along this journey that you have to move the customer through these 3 things. The first thing is they have to know you. The second thing is they have to like you.
Come on.
And the third thing is they have to trust you.
Yeah.
And once they know you, like you, and trust you, they will buy from you.
Yeah.
And it's really super simple. Not always easy, but it is simple. And you can think about that. The same thing with friendships. If you have a really good friend, you know them, you like them, and you trust them. If they're missing one of those things, it's probably not a great friendship. So anyways, same thing with working with a company. Sometimes, depending on the situation, these 3 things happen really fast. If you have an emergency plumbing situation,
Yep. You better
know
get
you,
to
like, you, trust you. Trust you might be out the window.
Yeah. I just need to know you and like you. Yeah.
I might just need to know that you're a plumber.
Or you just like in trust and no goes out the window. I don't even need to know you. I just like this guy and
I don't know about that. Not when it comes to plumbing.
yeah. Mess your whole house up.
So let's unpack know you a little bit. If somebody doesn't know that your business exists, they're not going to do business with you. That seems pretty silly,
Right.
but it's the truth. You can't just start a business and not tell anybody and expect to have any customers.
Yeah.
But in the same way, even if you're a small business and you don't do a lot of advertising or sponsorships, or you don't have a lot of signage or whatever, people don't know that you exist. So the things that fall under know you would be like your advertising, your, whether it's a yard sign, if you have trucks on the road, retail signage, brick and mortar, any video that you've done, social media, even word of mouth. All of these things can lead someone to know who you are.
Yeah, I was just going to mention too really quick as a caveat, know you, like you, and trust you are always happening. If you're earning money, those things are happening. Now the question is, at what scale are they happening at?
Sure.
So even if you've been 100% word of mouth business and you've been incredibly successful, you haven't really needed to market. Well, know you, like you, and trust you are still happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not happening the way that we would say is a scalable way to scale to a certain point. And so, yeah, I think of the small businesses that have been around, like in just rural Pennsylvania, like Manheim and Mount Joy or whatever, like an auto industry type of vibe or whatever, mechanic.
Yeah,
A lot of the times those places aren't running ads on Facebook,
sure.
but people know them because there's a need. And so people, word of mouth, that's the knowing.
Yep.
That you show up, how you treat that person is, I like you, and then I trust you to get the job done. But there is a threshold for every business where you will have to transition from not knowing or being intentional with these 3 categories. That's all. It's worth noting that these are happening.
Yeah.
Just like at what? It's a spectrum almost.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's also worth saying that when you talk about being known or people knowing you, there's levels to how effective these different things are. So if somebody discovers you on social media organically, that's more powerful than if they discover you on an ad
Yeah.
almost every time, because if it's an ad, they know you paid for it. They paid to get into your world. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, it's just not as good as organic. The same way, like, word of mouth is the ultimate. If I say, hey, Pete, I know you're currently looking for an electrician. Here's the guy I've been using for 5 years. He's never let me down.
Yeah.
Great pricing. Does great work, great pricing. You're immediately going, oh, here's somebody I trust telling me about somebody that they trust.
They trust. Yeah.
And so sometimes you can move all the way through know you, like you, trust you in one bout just because of the right word of mouth. Right. Now, you know,
the opposite is true too.
The opposite can be true if the person who's telling you this is not somebody that you trust, or they've given you recommendations in the past that have fallen through, or they're like, it's my cousin, which is cool, but you want to take a moment and let me check out their website. Let me just make sure that they're legit. Let me see if they have the certification I'm looking for, whatever it might be. There's different levels of know you.
Yeah. And I was also going to say too, like, even as we're talking about know, you can know of something or you can know something. And I don't want to be too like philosophical, but there is like this slight difference of, oh, I know of that. It's very kind of surface level.
Yeah.
And I know that. And when you develop a good brand and you develop trust and stuff, trust comes later because that's one of the pillars. But yeah, there's this sense of, if somebody walked into your place and they had a good experience, a good vibe, they're like, yeah, I know that place. I've been there. I know what it's like versus I know of it.
Yeah.
And we really want people to have that organic. That's the most powerful, is someone finding you online or in an organic way, and to really say, I like your content and I know you.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're moving from know you to like you, this can be really fast. This can be years.
Yeah.
There are, to use your auto mechanic example, because that's now stuck in my head, there are mechanics in Mountjoy that I've never done business with, but I know them. So I don't know a whole lot about them, but I know they exist, but I'm pretty happy with the people that I use. And so I've never attempted to do anything else. So I don't know if I like them or not, but I know them. I don't know if I trust them or not.
You've never made the leap from know to because you already have someone that you know and can trust.
In my case, yes. But at one point I didn't.
Yeah.
And I went off word of mouth for that. And I can actually remember how I found the people that I work with.
But if, let's say, your auto place were to shut down and you are now in a spot where you need to go and know someone, like someone, and trust someone, that makes you vulnerable. Like that puts you and the buyer in a position where they feel there's a little bit of vulnerability there, because you're like, it's like making a new friend. You have to be open to that transition too. So I say that to say, to build empathy for us as business owners, for the people that are shopping and browsing around. Like, I think even empathy, we talk about that later on, but understanding that it does take, you have to have empathy towards your buyers and your customers, because they're looking for something.
Yeah.
And you're trying to introduce yourself as the solution to that thing that they're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. When I first started thinking about the customer journey in these terms, I didn't have like you in the mix.
Yeah.
I actually it was just know you, trust you, buy from you was like what I thought about. But over time, I realized that like you part of it is actually really important. This is where you talk about empathy, where you talk about people's problems.
Yep.
This is where the like you part of it is where you're able to be a little clever, a little creative. You can be super clear, which is important to us, like taking time to develop a clear message.
Yeah. And a vibe check, as Gen Z would say.
Exactly.
Vibe check, yo.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on. Can Devin just say vibe check? Can we just have?
He probably knows words.
Devin is the Gen
vibe check.
I'm sustained purely on vibes.
Yeah. See, he lives on vibes.
Exactly.
He eats vibes for breakfast.
Exactly. That's what I'm only a couple years younger than Pete, but that's all the difference that it needs. Yeah. That's all the difference.
He puts oat milk on his vibe and eats.
Vibes are part of this complete breakfast.
Okay, I did actually get oat milk in my coffee this morning. Not gonna lie.
No, man, it's vibes. Yeah. No, but to your point, it's so true. So.
Yeah. So know you, like you, and the cool thing about one of the things I like about like you is that it can be starting to be established on the know you phase.
Yeah.
My kids are playing t-ball right now, and recently they had a game at the local ballpark. Mountjoy has an awesome field, Kunkel Field. It's for up to like middle school age kids play on this field. But the outfield wall has all these local business signs.
Yeah.
I just love it.
Yeah.
Like probably most people don't sit there and go, man, this is cool. Look at all that advertising. But I'm sitting there going, they're doing a great job. Like they knew that you got to put the phone number big enough that you can see it from the bleachers. They are not.
Yeah.
I had to pull out my phone and zoom in to see the phone number, like different things. I'm like, why didn't anybody have a QR code? This is QR. This would be QR code central.
Yeah, massive.
You know?
Half of it could be a QR code.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, to say all that, you can start to get to that like you even on an advertisement like that by choosing a picture or putting words on there that actually say something about your business beyond just a big logo slapped on there with a phone number.
Yeah, it's so, as you're speaking, I keep saying these pillars, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I think very visually.
Yeah.
As a designer it would, but I'm envisioning know you, like you, and trust you as these three massive pillars of like stone, right? And you build bridges from pillar to pillar. And as you're like, and then you walk across. So as you're in the know you phase, you're planting seeds of like you, right? Does this make sense?
Yeah, I'm just laughing because you're literally earning yourself a task for this week.
No, but
Guess what you're designing?
yeah,
this week?
an illustration
Yep.
of these pillars and the bridge from each to each. And you have to create that bridge to like you. And then when you're on like you, you're there and you're like, okay, now the next bridge we need to build is to trust.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the other
All
example,
seriousness, though, this just became like one of those
Poster.
Instagram or LinkedIn slidey thingies.
oh yeah, 100%, like a carousel.
Everybody at home now knows that I am not the social media mastermind. I
Yeah,
say
slidey.
slidey thing.
Then you go like this, the slidey
You
thing.
know, like you swipe with your finger.
No, yeah, man, that, and then the idea of planting seed, like when you're in the know you phase, like you should be thinking as an entrepreneur, okay, they know me now, they know what we do, they know who we are. However, I need to be ahead of them a step of just like, how can I get them to now like me? A lot of the times, if you're doing good work and you're a good person and you're joyful to be around to any degree, people will just naturally like
Of
you.
course.
But then as you're in the like you phase, you're thinking, okay, I really want this person to trust me. I really want to work with them. How do I do that? And that's where you do the extra things. You go above and beyond to earn their trust. You send them a letter, a handwritten note, whatever it is. Those are the things like, oh man, this person really cares.
Yeah.
I now trust them. So the one thing I didn't, just to rewind a little bit to vibe, the reason why I brought that up jokingly was because I had just had a client call with a lady who I'm going to be doing a kind of a small brand for. She's an online coach, and she just kept using that word. She was just like, man, I'm just getting good vibes from this call. She kept saying that on the call, and it was a little interesting to me, but she left the call and sent me a follow-up email and was just like, hey, I love the vibe. I think it's a great fit. Like, she just kept saying vibe. And I think that was her way of saying, I really like you.
Yeah.
I like you seem like the right fit. You're fun to be around. And so that's why I was jokingly saying vibe is the current word for just I like you. You're cool to be around. I'll just start designing that now during the podcast. It'll be like one of those when you go to a preaching, like at a charismatic church and they have the painter on stage. You ever see that? Like where someone's painting during the message and then at the end of it.
Okay.
Have you ever experienced something like
I know
this?
what you're about. Like they flip it upside down. And, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually like a face of
Okay.
Jesus, but then at
Right.
the end they flip it and then it's like,
I saw that at Creation Festival one time.
yeah, it's a common thing in like a church vibe. But I'm gonna do the equivalent of that. Like during the podcast, I'm illustrating and designing, and then at the end there's like music playing, and I spin the laptop, and it's this really cool illustration.
I thought you were gonna say that churches have, you know how when people get married, they'll have a live painter there in addition to like their photographer and stuff.
Never seen that.
Painting. Oh, really?
Snooty of a wedding.
It must have been
That's
a
like
Gen
a-
Z thing.
Yeah. No, I don't know. People have like somebody there who's like painting like a portrait live during the first dance or something like that of the
Okay.
bride and groom. It's like a live painting thing.
That's
I
pretty
thought
cool.
you were about to say the churches have that. I'm like, what church is
It's the
like?
same. It's the same concept. I've seen
painting
it
a-
two ways. I've seen it where it's a special thing in the beginning where they have a song up playing and people are watching them paint, and that's usually where they spin it around and then it's like reveals like a face of Jesus or something. I've also seen it during worship or during the preaching where someone's their person's preaching or they're doing worship set and the person's back there just like painting, and then they just sell that painting at the church bookstore for $2,000 or something crazy.
Wow.
It's like
It's not a bad gig.
exactly. It's not a bad gig at all.
Yeah. So
Like you, we're
let's get back to like you. We're getting off on
church paintings.
Yeah, church paintings. But
Like you.
the thing that the like you phase is where it's really important to have your call to action, and not your like main call to action, like buy. You should always have your main call to action there. But this is where those, what we call like transitional call to actions, like these, or secondary call to action, depending on what language you want to use. This is like subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the Instagram. This is where you want to have like your coupon set up or something, because when they're in that like you phase, that's when it's really easy to make that quick, oh, I'm gonna grab a coupon because I think I want to work with these guys. Even if you're not like all the way to I'm gonna call them right now, this is when that call to action can be there, and then you get their contact info. Now they're on your list, now they're subscribed to you, they're seeing more and more. This is the moment where that happens.
Yeah. And if they're seeing you more and more too, like they're watching your content or they're seeing your email come through, whatever it is, that touch point, they're seeing that on a regular basis, that builds trust, that builds authority.
Yeah.
Really. It puts you in a position of authority. I remember someone speaking to me at a coffee shop and I said, hey, I want to talk about X, Y, and Z on social media. And they said, as soon as you speak about it, you're going to be viewed as an authority on it. And I remember thinking, man, that's so true. I never thought about that. I rejected that a little bit. I was like, just because I'm saying something doesn't mean I'm positioning myself as an authority. And their argument was, as soon as you say something on something, you're positioning yourself as an authority on it to someone. So if someone sees that video, it's going to sound like you're an authority. And so I just thought that was an interesting concept. But building authority builds then trust, which segues into the trust pillar. Yeah,
for sure. And the thing about trust is somebody can know you, they can like you, but if they don't trust you, it's hard to move on to that next step, especially with the type of customers that we're often working with. They might be in your home. The work that they're doing, if somebody makes a mistake on your roof, you might not know it for 10 years. Like water might be getting in somewhere and the damage is not obvious for 10 years. But then when you do discover it, it's tens of thousands of dollars to fix, and triple, quadruple, whatever the cost of the initial job because of a mistake that was made. And of course, actually being able to hold anybody liable for that is impossible at that point. So that's where trust comes in. And another great way to look at that is we all have friends that we know and love to bring them out to the party. Hey, we should invite so-and-so to the party. They're a good hang. But you would never have them babysit your kids. Yeah. We have those friends. Right. Yeah. No, please. I will stay home.
Yeah. No date night for us.
Exactly.
We'll be home.
So in the same way, the way you build trust is through authority. Yeah. Years in service, certifications, awards, testimonials are huge. That's why word of mouth is so powerful. And somebody gives you that in-person testimonial.
But making those things visible.
Yes.
That's what I meant was like, that if that person is subscribed to you, they should be hearing, there should be some amount of authority oozing into to the forefront of your business.
Yes.
And because people will hide that stuff. People will like not talk about the things that give them authority to talk about things. Yeah. They'll hide how many years they've been in business, or not intentionally. They just, for one reason or another, it doesn't come up. And I think good business people will say, they'll qualify themselves up front sometimes. They'll say, hey man, having over 10 years of experience in the design field, I think this might be a good idea for you to go in this route. And then it's like, oh, this person is seasoned with some adobo, some salt and pepper. Yeah.
Like 16 mesh pepper, what are we talking about?
Yeah. Okay. 16 mesh is probably good. I don't even know what that means, but you're a barbecue guru. But yeah, making sure you're bringing the things that do qualify you and give you authority to the forefront of your online presence to some degree.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you talk about the years that you've been in business, on one hand, a lot of people think talking about how few years they've been in business is a problem. And I think that's just a messaging problem is what that is. Because typically, if you just started your business, you've got some cutting edge information. You are things perhaps about what's going on right now in your industry that the guy who's been around for 20 years and maybe has been like resting on his laurels a little bit, but doing things the same way for years and years, And it all depends on industry. Some industries don't change a lot.
Innovation versus
Like
tradition.
our industry, if you build a website for somebody that's built on 20-year-old technology,
yeah, it's going to be noticeable. This is a great time to plug last week's episode. So if you haven't seen it yet, go watch or listen to last week's episode where we talk about tradition and innovation.
Yep.
It's a fantastic episode. We give a ton of good examples on companies that do both well, but go check that out.
Yeah. Some other things that come into the trust you thing, like another way to establish trust is to offer a guarantee. So being able to, or warranty, whatever, being able to back your work up, saying, hey, if you're not satisfied, we give a 30-day money back guarantee, or your roof comes with a 30-year warranty. These types of things really help people trust you more because they realize that you're putting something on the line.
Yeah.
You're willing to stick your neck out and say that this work is going to be high quality.
Right. I think this is important to note. Not that everybody who we're speaking to creates content, but in the content space, when I say content, social media content, videos, posts, whatever, there's such a big push right now for user-generated content, which is the acronym is UGC. And it's essentially stuff you see all the time. You see when these brands are selling a product, they're no longer doing these highly produced videos. It's a girl in her room saying, hey guys, she's using the toothpaste and she's just, I just tried this new berry toothpaste. It's so amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then they just have 30 of those videos with 30 girls using their product or guys or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then they're just hitting you with this user generated content. It's shot on iPhone.
Yeah.
It's literally shot on front facing camera iPhone.
Yeah.
The quality is low, but they'll add captions to it and they'll mass push it out. And what's crazy is that Think Media is talking about this a lot. The big mainline influencers, like the 200,000, 500,000 following influencers, they're not getting as much brand deals because big brands are targeting micro influencers. So they're recognizing that there's more trust with someone who has 2,000 followers but has a high engagement.
Oh yeah.
Than the person with 200,000 and who's not as converting as many sales.
In the same way, you can be smart with how you spread your ad dollars by getting 100 people with 2,000 followers.
Right.
Essentially, some of them, maybe you just send them free product and they're willing to do a video on it.
100%.
Versus paying the large cost that comes with somebody who's got 200 or 2 million or whatever followers.
So how does this play out? I'm thinking of an HVAC company, right? And literally you ask someone who's getting their HVAC done, you're saying, hey, we want to do a user-generated piece of content for our social media.
Yeah.
We're willing to give you 10% off if you help us shoot this video.
Yeah.
Now that customer says, okay, great. I would love that. It's a win-win. They grab their iPhone, they go outside and they're like, hey, I'm about to work with whatever HVAC company. They tell me that they're going to have it done in a day. I'm going to time them and let's see.
Oh yeah.
So it's a mom with her kids and they have 4 hours to get the job done. She said it was going to be done in 4 hours or I get the job guaranteed. So she's going and she's vlogging herself at the grocery store. She's doing all these things. She takes the kids to the park and she comes home after 4 hours. Mind you, the whole video, there's a countdown.
Yeah.
And it's time lapsed.
Yeah.
So it's fast. She comes back and 4 hours, your employer, the HVAC guy's at the door with her receipt or whatever. And he's taking off the plastic things from his booth and he's saying, everything looks good. I'm excited. We got the job done. I hope you love it. And you're like, oh my gosh, you guys did it. It's great. That little clip of content, 30 to 60 seconds, is going to convert so much more than a highly produced piece.
You don't know this, but I have a client who's HVAC. I've been trying to get them to do a time-lapse video for the longest time.
Yeah, bro. We're dropping gems today.
Like what you just said took it to the next level. Because when I was proposing this, it was back during vlog. YouTube was real big. And I was like, it would be cool just to essentially vlog a job. Like they wouldn't have to do the talk to camera stuff, but just have a job going on and do a voiceover or something, but like a time lapse. And customers would find that incredibly interesting. And then I know the way that they work is super detail oriented. When you see like their any like plumbing or lines they have to run for the different projects, it's like super organized and all this stuff. So it would make really killer video content for people who...
Are they a local business?
They're a local
Shout them out.
business.
Who are you talking about?
Hershey's,
yeah.
Hershey
Or
HVAC.
Hershey, not
Well,
Hershey's.
heating and air conditioning, and now they're also plumbing and water conditioning as well. Yeah.
I had someone like
That's
that in
what I
my
meant.
mind, but yeah,
And I'm going to bring Ryan on the podcast at some point.
I think.
But
Sorry.
But anyways, I've been trying to get them to do that a long time, and now I have to call them out on this podcast.
Yeah.
But honestly, their business has been doing so well that that type of marketing is just not something that they've been super interested in. And that's actually what I want to bring him on the podcast to talk about, is how your brand can be just doing such good work that people spread the word for you.
Yeah.
That's literally what they do. Along those lines, though, you mentioned influencers selling berry toothpaste, and you unintentionally said 100 girls or whatever, and then you said, or guys, whatever. And then I thought, hold on a second. Here is an opportunity, a business opportunity for us. Man flavored toothpaste.
Yeah. Dang.
Bourbon toothpaste.
Oh, dude. Yo, that would be crazy.
Right?
Like cigar.
People would have to buy it once. I don't know if they would continue to buy it, but they would have to buy it once.
Brush your teeth and smell like an alcoholic. Yeah.
Nothing like kissing your girl after brushing bourbon paste.
No, you know what's great is that you could just do, like, I don't know if you guys ever, if you smoke a cigar, usually you could brush your teeth the night you smoke a cigar, and the next morning you still have that taste in your
I
mouth.
have a whole routine. I do pretty good.
Yeah. So you could do the tongue scraper.
yeah.
I do all that stuff too. But in the morning, you still have a little hint of that. So what if you made like a post-morning cigar flavor?
Oh, we're trying to make good toothpaste here. Come on, man.
If someone wanted that taste, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
All right. No, bourbon's good.
Bourbon, barbecue,
It tastes like barbecue. It's, wow, it's like charcoal-y.
barbecue mint, charcoal mint.
Charcoal toothpaste is a thing. That's brilliant. High Smile.
Pat, that's
Also,
all I
like,
gotta
if
say.
you're,
I
if
declare
you're marketing it towards men, have like bourbon flavored like 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste.
Yeah. Bourbon is a real thing.
I did
Man.
doing the Michael Scott. I declare patent.
Yeah. Claire Patton.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, I've been thinking about user generated content a lot because there's a brand called High Smile. I don't want to give them money, but
Is that a CBD toothpaste?
oh, it's literally just like flavored toothpaste, but they have this purple whitening serum. And I kept getting ads for it. Like over the course of 2 months, I kept getting these ads, and they're all user generated. Like they're very low production stuff. And finally, I bought a $20 bottle of this purple serum. And the idea is that like women who have blonde hair, they'll use purple shampoo to keep their hair blonde against yellow. It fights against yellow. So they use color theory. You scrub with this really purple, intense purple stuff, and it automatically whitens the surface of your teeth because purple and yellow cancel out to make white. So like violet and yellow cancel out to make white. So I finally bought this $20 bottle, and I started to think, what was the journey that I went on? And the journey was this consistent touch points on social media of these really low produced videos of people using their product. And that was eventually, it was enough. What got me is they put it on a banana and then left it on for a minute and wiped it off, and the banana was white underneath. I don't know if that was fake or not, but I know that I need to know. I was like, I need to know if this is true, and I'm gonna put this on a banana and try it.
And
I haven't gotten the mail yet. It's an Australian company, so
okay.
I'm literally still waiting for the product. But my point is, again, going back to trust you and this whole thing of a journey. It's like they took me on a journey, and finally I clicked on the shop now thing, and it was an impulse purchase. And I told my wife, "Hey, I just bought a $20 whitening serum. I'm sorry." And she was like, "That's cheaper than Crest, who sells like $50 whitening strips, so it's cool." But they got me.
I'm curious how you got on the journey in the first place. What were you doing that the algorithm knew that you needed whiter teeth or something like that?
Maybe it just saw my videos and they were like, "Damn, this guy, let's just send him High Smile." Yeah. So going back to the exact type of
cigars.
content, you were talking about Hershey.
Yeah.
And just, man, the impact of showing from a client even perspective even. It's not just Hershey selling it. It's one of their customers talking about how awesome of a job they do.
So, yeah, when you talk about trust, you're at the stage here where if somebody knows you and likes you, and now they're deciphering whether or not you're going to be a good fit. They're just looking for something that puts them over the edge so they can make the decision. You know what I mean? They know you and they like you. Now they just want something to reinforce that so that they trust you. They're in the due diligence phase, and they might be looking at you with some other companies that they've also maybe they know and like some other companies too. Like it might not be just you that's in the mix here.
Right.
So this trust element's really important. And some of the things you can do to help beyond testimonials and beyond talking about subjects that you're an authority in, the other thing you can do is case studies or before and afters, depending on your industry. I think those can be the same thing or different things.
Yeah.
And just showing, reinforcing, again, they're just looking for something. And the more of those before and afters or case studies that you can put up, the more likely are to find one that applies to them. And it also helps you, if you know who your target customer is, if you've gone through a brand strategy process and you've identified who those people are, then you know what types of case studies, what types of before and afters to put up there so that you have the right types of customers coming to you.
It qualifies for sure. Man, so after someone trusts you, is there a point where sure, someone trusts you, but they might still have two other options on the table aside of you?
Yeah.
Is that, how do you go from then, if you're thinking about them like pillars, is there a leap from trust to buy?
There is.
How big is that? The same distance of a leap?
Yeah, that's true. They could theoretically, somebody could know and trust you, and then they get to the buy from you, and they're literally going, "Who do I trust more? Who do I like more?"
They're weighing those things.
Yep.
And even if you did all well on all three, at the end of the day, it might come down to another factor.
How many times have you been in a situation where you're like, "I know I can trust this brand over here, but man, I really like what this brand's doing. I'm just not sure if I can trust them." And then you get stuck. You get stuck there going, which one do I do?
Yeah.
And I would say the last little trick or tip, if you will, to get somebody over the hump there is a sense of urgency. Some sort of make an offer.
Yeah.
One thing, make your offer super clear, because if the offer's there, then they're going to want to take it. But the other thing is a sense of urgency, or FOMO, like fear of missing out.
Wow.
Go ahead and figure out a way to make it like, I can't not do this. That's where you're at.
FOMO. I just laugh because my wife is like the queen of, he just doesn't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
But one of the ways that I've seen FOMO done really well, again, you don't want to come across with a negative connotation of, don't miss out on what we're doing. Don't miss out. Like I don't even like when churches say that. Hey, don't miss this. Like, come to this event. Don't miss it. Because like, rather just empower them. Just be like, man, we would love to have you here.
Yeah.
Rather than, there's just, you want to be careful with that. However, FOMO is a great tactic. And the way I've seen it done really well is a cheaper price up front for a limited time.
Yep.
Hey, we're launching services in the Lancaster area. This is a new area for us. We're launching services. For the first 2 weeks, we're offering this rate. After 2 weeks, it's going back up to our regular price. Lock in your price now, and we'd love to work with you.
And I'm a firm believer in, if you make that statement, that you follow through.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because there are companies that are just constantly trying to like use the flywheel of FOMO and of urgency, and it's total BS.
Yeah.
Like,
There's no actual stop point.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think you have to.
Every time you go on their website, there's a new countdown to something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've been on those?
I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate that.
exactly.
No,
And one of the core values for Brand Nerd is marketing that makes the world a better place.
yeah, that's not making the world a better place.
Yeah, that's cheap. That's nonsense.
But I think just having that.
Yeah. But
Opportunity.
part of fear, the fear of failure, is if there's not a cost to not doing business with you. You understand that? So it's a double negative. There has to be a cost for not doing business.
I see.
You know what I mean? Like, there is something at stake here.
Yep.
If you don't choose us, you risk X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
That is a statement that people can get on board with. That comes directly from the story brand frameworks we use all the time. And I say that fear part of it, it's like salt in the recipe.
Yeah.
If you get out your stir fry and you make the most delicious food, but you don't put any soy sauce in it, the salt,
Yeah.
soy sauce is very salty. You didn't make stir fry.
Yeah.
You made warm vegetables.
Which
You know-
nobody
You know what I'm
wants.
saying? Nobody wants that. In the same way, if you bake a loaf of bread, it doesn't require a lot of salt, but it could be super bland.
Yeah.
But a little bit of salt, all of a sudden it's amazing.
Yeah.
So that salt is just the little bit of the recipe that really puts it over the edge.
Good. You just spoke about the after now we're in trust, and now that person still has a couple options on the table.
Yep.
I think that's a point where you can put some salt in.
Oh yeah.
Because they already trust you now. They're like, I know, I fully trust you can get the job done. But if they're attracted to this thing that someone else is doing over here, now you say, hey, look, We've earned your trust. Here's something to consider. Here's the risks, is that you might go over there. They might seem innovative. They might seem whatever, but they don't have the clear portfolio of previous work that we have. And so there's risk there. If it's going to be expensive to work with us, but it might be even more expensive if you pay them and they don't get the job done.
Exactly.
And those are little opportunities where you can begin to put in some of that salt because you've earned the trust of the customer.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I love that. So buy from you, man.
And
FOMO.
that is like typically when we're doing like messaging, let's say I'm writing the homepage for a website. Actually, this is what I'm thinking about as I'm going down the page. Like you can actually wireframe a website thinking, know you, like you, trust you, buy from you. And the buy from you at the bottom, obviously, if you've been around me at all, you know that I like several buy buttons. I want to make it super clear how you buy. But that buy from you section often has a little bit of fear, a little bit of FOMO sprinkled in, and we do it at the end because you need that other stuff to make it worthwhile. You know, but there is an exception. The exception is if you are in an industry like internet security or home security or anything that's got maybe even like insurance, life insurance or something like that.
You're leading with those things.
You would lead with that FOMO a little bit more simply because of the industry that you're in. You're literally preventing disaster.
Yeah. So don't try to add salt when they don't even like you or they don't even know who you are yet.
If they're coming to you for salt,
right? Yeah,
that's what I'm saying with like security and insurance. Like that is you're in the business of FOMO and in the sense of
here's something powerful. So we're not talking about those businesses that should be leading the way with fear. That makes sense. Putting them aside for a second. If someone barely knows you yet, you're an everyday business and you start to give reasons why they should fear not working with you, it can come off the wrong way. Yeah. It's too soon, it's too quick, and it could be a turn off. They're like, who do you think you are? What do you mean? But so what could be a turn off at the know you stage is a turn on in the trust you phase. Absolutely. And so timing and discernment is huge. Knowing when to say what, knowing where in the journey people are. Yeah. If you're working with 20 clients, they're not all in the same pillar. Yeah. So you could literally have a poster on your wall and have a little a sticky note with each client's name and move them from pillar to pillar as they get there. And you're like, okay, I know you're at the trust me phase. This person's still at know you. I'm still getting to know them. Yeah. I don't know. That would actually be a fun exercise. Yeah. Like for a company to put all their clients and just say, where do you think they are?
Yeah, the potential clients. Yeah,
or potential clients. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That would be
it's incredibly effective for people to sit down with their team and map out their current customer journey. Just literally be like, okay, let's put 4 columns up here. Know you, like you, trust you, buy from you. And honestly, I think know you, like you, trust you are the ones where like you can really do a lot. Yeah. That's increasing the floodgates. And then buy from you is really more that like conversion optimization. That's that conversion being converting them from a browser to a buyer, and optimizing being trying to increase the percentage. If you're converting 25% of your browsers into buyers, then how do we get it to 30% or 90% would be great. Yeah. But the know you, trust you, and actually start to go, okay, what are we doing for people to know us? Like where in the world are we currently advertising? What are we doing on social? And then do the same thing for like you. You know, what are we doing that makes people like us? When are we talking about people's problems? Are we clear enough? Are we creative enough? Because creativity can help break through the noise, just like clarity can help break through the noise. Yeah. And when you marry the two together, creative and clarity, then you've got a really potent mix. Where are we talking about the reasons people should trust us? And finally, what are we doing to help people buy from us? What kind of reasonable urgency or pressure are we applying?
Yeah, man. My mind is just racing with ideas right now. It's crazy because I'm just thinking about this for my own business. I just keep thinking about, oh my word.
And so here's the thing.
Yeah, anyway,
if you're starting a business, this is a great exercise to just start day one and be like, all right, let's put some pillars out there. If you're in an established business, you've got 5 or more employees and things are going pretty well, but you're trying to figure out how to get over the hump, this is the moment where you can map what you're doing right now. Just don't start to speculate what you should do in the future just yet, but mark what you do right now, and then create your 2-year plan. This is where I'd like to be with all this stuff in 2 years, and then walk backwards. Like from where we are now to 2 years, start at 2 years and walk backwards. Okay, where can we be at 18 months? Where can we be at 12 months? Where can we be at 6 months? And start to do that exercise. Another thing that's great about this Know You, Like You, Trust You is these are your social media buckets. You have to have posts that are know you.
Yeah.
You have to have posts that just literally even if you're already at the point where you've got thousands of followers, you feel like you're pretty established. There's always new people moving to town. There's always people who are disgruntled with their current provider.
Right.
Like, you have to have those know you posts. You have to have those like you posts. You have to have some personality. You got to be creative. You got to be super clear about what exactly it is you do. And then you have to have the trust. You have to post some wins, post some customer testimonials, get interactive with people who post kind things about you. And then I think on social anyways, buy from you is very rare. Right. You want to really limit that. Maybe like 1 out of 10 would be the most I would recommend on like a buy from you type post.
Or you're making an explicit ask
to
buy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the byproduct of all those other posts could lead someone to buy too.
Of course.
But you're talking about that Gary V like punch.
How many businesses do you see that every single post is buy? Do you know we offer this?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know.
That drives me bonkers. So
That's
why
crazy.
is everybody started with questions too? Did you know? Oh man, that hurts my heart.
You're better off just saying, hi, I Pete. I do design. Buy here.
That's super clear. That's for sure.
The caveman test. It passed the caveman test.
Yeah. Yeah. So the other thing that we alluded to at the beginning is that this is the pre-purchase journey. There actually is a whole nother journey to talk about. That is the post-purchase journey. It's where if the pre-purchase journey is turning browsers into buyers, then the post-purchase journey is about turning buyers into
fans.
Yeah.
Or advocate disciples. Come on, dude.
Gotta find another B word.
Yeah.
From brothers.
Brother. No, man. No, because it just doesn't work.
It's too gender specific.
Exactly. We'll get canceled. Bros. From buyers
to bros.
to bros.
It works for our toothpaste.
It does. It works for that, but nothing else. For that toothpaste, we need to reach out. Like, we need to collaborate with Dr. Squatch. It's like that style thing.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll let the buyouts out, but to start.
Yeah. So good. Well, hey, I think this is such a good and useful episode for people. I think, man, I am walking away as a small business owner. I just want to clarify my message on social. I'm realizing now that I just need to view everything through this lens of know you, like you, trust you, and actually tell people what I do. I think I'm sometimes just ambiguous, and I think a lot of people will relate with this. You just don't really get around to saying like really clearly what you do. And it's that clarity plus repetition that helps people understand. And it's not their fault. It's your fault. Yeah. It's my fault that if people don't buy from me because they don't know what I offer, they don't know what I do. And it's my job to look at everything through these lenses to get to the point of buy from you.
Yeah. I hope the people that are listening will take a moment to share their own experiences with customer journey. If anything like jumped out at them, and we have a number of ways for you to do that. And I would say YouTube is our go-to platform, just because I should say it's my go-to platform. I don't want to say it's ours, but I love YouTube. And we had 110 subs as of this morning. So that's pretty cool. We ticked over to the 100 mark and then some. And another way, so go ahead on YouTube and comment on this episode. Another way to leave a voice message is actually go to bnpod.com, letter B, letter N, pod.com. And that actually just forwards you straight over to Spotify, where you can leave a voice message, which I'm like, please, somebody leave a voice message. Like, that would be freaking awesome.
We should start dubbing our own.
Yeah.
Like, we do accents. Wait, is that you, Pete? You're like, hey, how you doing? It's Pedro. I have a question about my brand.
That would be great. You do that. I'm not going to do a voice.
No, BN Pod. Go to BN Pod to leave a
BN
voice
Pod, yeah.
message.
And then you can also email us at hello@bnpod.com.
Hello.
Facebook, TikTok at Deploy the Nerds. Deploy the Nerds. And then, yeah, share this episode if you found it useful. Share it with people that, not just share it on your page. Sure, that's great. Get the word out. But honestly, share it with a person who you're like, hey, you business owner, local business owner,
Solopreneur.
you would really benefit from this podcast. That's who we're talking to. That's who we want to reach. Yep. So if you're down with us, that would be awesome. You can always leave a review as well. That's super helpful. But that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay curious.
If you enjoyed this Brand Nerd podcast, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode.